early on with the first couple injuries, I was like, oh, like I need to get back. Like, but I think like my mom texted me like after this last injury, and like they know how hard it's been on me. But my mom was like, you know, you've taken so much time for everybody else. Like you have to take time for yourself now. So just trying to do that the best I can too.
Look, nobody saw this coming. A simple chat between Caitlin Clark and Sue Bird turned into something wild. 1 minute, they're just talking hoops. The next, Caitlin casually mentions her injury, and the internet exploded. Was it a hint about her comeback? Or maybe she was just playing mind game? Whatever it was, Sue Bird's face said everything. This wasn't just an interview, it was a total cliffhanger.
About something that I cannot believe Caitlin Clark said out loud. Do I believe Caitlin Clark said this? Yeah. Do I believe she's right? Yeah. I cannot believe Caitlin Clark said this out loud. I'm shocked. I am shocked that she said it out loud in the Sue Bird podcast. And she's 100% correct. She's played on a team with Natasha Howard, who
The thing is, the internet didn't just watch Caitlin Clark's interview with Sue Bird. They devoured it. It was like Netflix dropping a surprise new season of a show you didn't even know was coming. Suddenly, your whole timeline was just spoilers and theories. Fans clicked play expecting a nice, polite chat. They thought it would be some light basketball talk, maybe a cute story or some get well soon vibes. Nope, Caitlin Clark showed up, ready to blow up all your group chats with just a few words.
It has given me really good perspective on like what a lot of my teammates and people that I've, you know, teams I've been a part of, like certain people have had to go through. Like I've never been through anything like this. Like, and I think that's probably why it's been so hard, because like I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself, because like when I first like was feeling pain, like I didn't understand it. Like I didn't know. I was like, am I just tight?
And Sue Bird, she just sat there looking like she was holding all the secrets. You could tell she was loving it. Right from the start, Sue gave these subtle, knowing smiles. Those smiles that say, I've been in this game a long time. I know what's up, but I'm not spilling all the details. She didn't try to take over the conversation. She let Caitlin lead the way. Sue would just drop in a perfect nod or raise an eyebrow. It was like she was adding seasoning to a dish. That's the art of interviewing without ever really grilling someone.
We have gotten a little bit of an update. Here from Chloe Peterson, who is probably the main journalist involved with the Indiana Fever. And realistically, this is not an ideal scenario for anyone, but it's an update. And look, to say that she doesn't have any extra information is wrong. She 1,000,000% has extra information.
Caitlin? Oh, she came ready with answers so vague they could win an Olympic medal. We learned about her injury journey though. It started with a quad strain. That sounded manageable enough, but then it teamed up with a groin injury. It was like the Avengers of annoying setback, and just when she thought she was in the clear, bam. Another groin injury hit. It's like injuries in the WNBA have no chill. They just follow soap opera rules. You think the villain is gone, and then they're back for the season finale.
Like the deep three, the logo three, as we know it today, like came when you got to college. But you were like, but I always had a step back.
I did always have to step back.
So like, where does that come from? Like, were you mimicking? Did it just come naturally?
I think it just like kind of came naturally. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put my finger on. Honestly, I grew up like a basketball junkie. So I think like, even if you're not like intentionally like watching and like
Caitlin didn't need to dramatize her pain. The timeline of her injuries was wild enough on its own. This was her first real time stuck in injury jail, and you could just tell she hated every second. Imagine being built for constant competition, then suddenly you're told to just sit still and watch. That's like asking a Ferrari to start knitting. Her rehab days sounded like a constant mix of hope and frustration. Some days she was mentally sprinting, feeling so close to being game ready. Other days her body would just laugh in her face. It was like it said, nice try, but you live here now. So she watched Disney movies and had sports psychology sessions. Caitlin Clark might have invented the cozy girl athlete vibe. Picture her watching Milan for the 10th time, sipping tea, writing affirmations, and somewhere nearby a resistance band just waiting to ruin her mood.
About Caitlin being out, a lot of people are looking forward to you two facing off for the first time.
Yeah, I hope she has a speedy recovery. I think player safety is most important, so making sure you're 100% before you step out on the floor could lead to worse things, so I'm glad she's taking care of her body. But they'll be...
Here's where the interview got really spicy, even though nobody raised their voice. It was all about the pressure. You could feel it radiating from her, not just from her team, but from everyone around her. The league doesn't just want her back. They need her back. Fans are craving those step-back threes and logo shots. And the sponsors? Let's just say merch isn't flying off the shelves the same way without Clark on the court. Plus, there's the financial side. Caitlin's brand is like its own mini economy right now. Even injured, she's still signing autographs and taking pictures. But that's not sustainable forever. She's carrying the weight of knowing her absence isn't just a sports story, it's a huge business headline. Sue Bird, to her credit, played it perfectly cool. And of course, the big question everyone wanted answered was the comeback timeline. When is Caitlin Clark actually returning? Will she shock everyone next week? Or is this going to be a long, drawn-out suspense story?
The organization do, and I'd say it's very much kept under wraps what's going on with Caitlin Clark. But let's take a listen right here.
As we start to answer some questions. First question comes from Krista, who asked this, and she follows up, to your knowledge, is Caitlin practicing with the team at all yet? And just in case anybody's listening to this only, Chloe, do you have any updates whatsoever on Caitlin Clark's health status?
The most I know is, what's already been reported, in the sense of she's been running up and down full speed.
Her answer about a return date was perfectly calculated. You'd think she took a master class in keeping people guessing. No firm date, no specifics at all. Just enough breadcrumbs to make you think mid to late August. But she also hinted at a possible sooner surprise. The Fever are clearly taking the safe and Thorry approach. They're playing the long game here. Rushing a star player back from injury is like microwaving a steak. Sure, it's faster, but everyone will regret it later. And then here's the plot twist. The emotional punch. Caitlin shared what her mom told her. Caitlin Clark isn't wired for quiet returns. When she comes back, it's gonna be loud. The very first time she touches the ball, expect the crowd to go absolutely wild. Commentators will be rehearsing their "she's back" lines, and Twitter expected to crash for at least 15 minutes.
Now, 64% of the WNBA is black. All right, Caitlin Clark comes in and is immediately the biggest star in the league. Immediately. And merchandising in every other way. Apparently, there's some jealousy that might be manifesting itself into physical
Sue Bird knows it. She had that little glint in her eye, the one that says, I know exactly how this comeback is gonna go and you're all gonna lose your minds. She's been in that position herself, She's watched the hype machine build, and she knows how to ride it without letting it swallow you whole. The real beauty of this interview, it didn't give away all the answers, it just teased us. It dangled possibilities, it gave just enough for the headlines, but left the real story for when she's finally back on the court. That's how you keep a fan base hooked. Not with closure, but with the promise of chaos just around the corner. And make no mistake, when Caitlin Clark is back on the hardwood, somewhere, she'll probably be thinking, I told you I'd be back. What's crazy is, Caitlin Clark's injury saga has created this whole subculture of speculation. It feels like March Madness had a baby with a conspiracy theory subreddit.
People can say what they want, but there's not a player in the WNBA that impacts their team more than Caitlin Clark and has the responsibility that Caitlin Clark has for their team. When we talk about an engine, when we talk about passing, scoring, facilitating, gravity on the basketball court, when we talk about all these different things and all these different patterns, that the way that she plays and the way that she gets to her spots and her movement on the court, and she plays the game with a unique rhythm.
So, you've got the crowd who thinks she's secretly healthy. They believe she's just waiting for the perfect TV ratings moment to return. These are the people tracking her grocery store runs. They're cross-referencing how many steps she takes from her car to the door with recovery timeline. If she picks up a gallon of milk without wincing, boom, instant YouTube breakdown video. Then you have the she's done for the season pessimists. They watch that interview and act like Caitlyn was broadcasting from a hospital bed. They freeze frame her every move. Like, see that slight twitch? That's a sign she's not back until 2026. These are the folks who could turn a sneeze into a press release. And right in the middle, the casual fans. They clicked on the interview thinking it was just two legends having a friendly chat, but they left feeling like they'd just witnessed the basketball version of Inception. They're probably still sitting there 2 weeks later, staring into space, wondering if Sue Bird's smirk in minute 7 meant early September or don't ask me until Christmas.
When Paige Becker says she doesn't think that her and Caitlin Clark play alike, she wasn't lying. She was telling the complete truth, because I see it more than ever right now. At first, when Paige said this, I was like, she might be hating. But now that I'm actually seeing why she said it, she's just trying to save herself, to make people know that, hey,
Sue Bird, by the way, plays her role in this circus like a total master puppeteer. She's got this subtle talent for reacting in ways that could mean everything, or absolutely nothing. She'll raise an eyebrow. Maybe that means Caitlyn's coming back next game. She'll lean back in her chair. Maybe she's hinting at a month-long absence. Or she'll take a sip of water mid-sentence. Oh, that's definitely code for she's playing the home opener after the Olympics. It's like the Da Vinci Code, but for point guards. And Caitlyn, whether she realizes it or not, is just fueling this fire beautifully. She's a pro at the non-answer answer. That's the kind where you think you've learned something concrete, but then you replay it, and you realize you just got expertly sidestepped. There are fan accounts making montage edits of Sue nodding with inspirational music. It's like she's personally blessing Caitlyn's road to recovery, and there are threads where people are breaking down Caitlyn's tone, her posture, and whether her laugh at 314 was a confident laugh or a hiding the pain laugh.
Got people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along, and
what's crazy is you'd think people were analyzing political negotiations, not a basketball comeback. But that's the beauty of this moment. Caitlin Clark has crossed into that rare territory. Now every tiny gesture from her is huge news. The funniest part? Just imagine what's going on in the Fever's front office right now. They're probably watching that interview on loop in some dark conference room. They're pausing it to debate things like, does she sound 70% healed to you? Or is that just the lighting? There's definitely a PowerPoint somewhere titled Projected Return Windows, all based on eyebrow movements, and it probably has 15 slides just dedicated to Sue Bird's reactions. Of course, lurking in the shadows of all this is the comeback game narrative. Is she going to play the long con, start slow, then explode in the fourth quarter? Like a Marvel superhero arriving halfway through the fight, and the internet? Oh, it'll completely implode. The only thing trending higher than Caitlin Clark's stat line will be clips from this very interview, replayed with captions like, she told us without telling us.
More methodical when she needs to, especially in the half court, especially when she gets off the switch and want to attack the opposing player for as a big man. Like she does little things on the basketball court that you have to really analyze, you have to really watch, you have to really know what you're seeing to really understand how different she is. We have never seen a woman in today's game or in history like Caitlin Clark. I know people want to say that she's the female version of Steph Curry, but to me, she doesn't even play like Stephen Curry, because Stephen Curry, as great as he is, his best attribute is his shooting, but his second best attribute is his off-ball ability. Caitlin is a on-ball guard.
The reality is, every star athlete carries way more than just the game. They're carrying expectations, brand obligations, their own personal pride, and that unspoken fear that an injury could change everything. Sue Bird gets that better than almost anyone. That's why she sat there with this calm presence. It was like she was saying, I've been through worse storms and you're gonna be just fine. She wasn't just interviewing Caitlyn. She was passing on the unwritten code of how to navigate being both an athlete and a public figure, how to do it without letting either role break you. And here's the part nobody really wants to admit. Some people actually like the mystery. Sure, they'll complain on Twitter about the lack of a firm date. They'll rant in the comments that we deserve to know. But deep down, they love this limbo. One day, they'll be right about her return. And when that day comes, this interview will feel like the pilot episode of a series. A series that ended exactly the way the fans wanted, with the hero walking back onto the court, smiling like she knew the ending all along. And honest, she probably did.